Hey, this is Bess,
And Abigail.
and today we are talking about the book, The City of Ember by Janine DeProw. And so let's get this started.
What do you think of the beginning of the book?
I think the beginning of the book is pretty slow going, honestly, because it's sort of just like it's sort of describing most of the city and how the way works, and like the world building is pretty important, but I don't think it's like I feel like it takes a chapter too long, maybe.
Yeah, like I love all the description that it gives about like, how the city works and what all the jobs are and kind of stuff like that. But like, it honestly could like it could be toned down,
Yeah, and like and I feel like she should have focused more on like the past relationship of God, what's her name, Dune and Lena.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe a bit more with her grandmother, because your grandmother seems sort of like an absent character.
Yeah.
And her sister is like more there, but the same sort of thing, really.
Because I really would have loved to hear more about her grandma.
Honestly, because like she seemed to be a really nice lady, and we heard a few stories from her, but not really enough to be like, oh my God,
I know everything about her.
Yeah, like not enough to be like, oh my God, I love her.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the mayor? Because the mayor is like a pretty important part, though.
Yes, the mayor. Oh my God, I hated him.
I know. I thought at first he was just going to be like an annoying like minor inconvenience in the book, because he was like not really. Because he wasn't really acknowledging, but not really ignoring either. Yeah, but so it was just like that kind of thing. But when like they went into the sewer system,
yeah, like he's the main reason.
He's the main reason, yeah.
Of everything that's been
like,
happening.
I don't understand why he hoarded all of the light. Because like if there's no electricity, no point for lights unless you figure out how to make fire. And like you can't really do anything with that, right? Yeah.
There's also a movie on this, and like it shows like a scene where like they break into the mayor's office, and like all the food is in there with him.
Oh yeah.
And so like. English. I love all the descriptions and like all the stuff.
Yeah, I also like how they like described the mayor after finding that as like a selfish, greedy, purple-faced man.
Yeah,
instead of the respected man that seemed to take up a room with his presence. Yeah. Instead of that, it's now like a man that like takes up the room with his selfishness and greed rather than like respect.
Yes. All right.
What Lena and Dune could have done better. I feel like they wanted a big announcement with like, which I understand because like they're 12, 11, right? Yeah. And so like I understand wanting like credit for something that like something is going to save hundreds of people. You know, they said about 400. Yeah. So like they definitely could. So like I feel like if they immediately announced it without. Because, like, if they didn't tell the guards, because the guards seem to have been, like, sort of declining and, like, they're,
because they were with the mayor, so,
they're with the mayor, so they're going to believe him a bit more than, like, 2 12-year-olds.
Yeah, of course.
That previously have caused trouble before, right?
Yeah, they seriously should have told, like,
their parents.
Like, the trusted people that they have in the neighborhood.
Like, the gardener that Lena is friends with, what's her name?
Dune's father. I forgot her name.
Yeah. Oh, well. Memory of a goldfish.
It's okay.
It's okay. So I feel like if we did do that, we could, like...
Yeah, like, even if they told just, like, the whole town in general, like, soon enough, they probably could have cracked the case sooner.
Honestly, because then they would have, like, adults working on it that could have honestly, like, helped a bit more with it.
Because they seriously could have.
Mm-hmm. I don't really understand why Janine made her sister sick, though. Yeah. Because, like, all it really does was add a bit more stress into Lena's time. Yeah. Rather than create more conflict and overlaying conflict. It sort of just created, like, a minor inconvenience. Yeah. Like, I liked hearing about it, but, like, after hearing about it every time Lena got home, it got tiring. Like, if it happened for, like, a chapter, the last 2 chapters, that would have been, like, really good because it created more suspense for the next book. Yeah. But not really throughout chapter 5 to the rest of the book.
Yeah, when things are repetitive, I just get tired of it.
Yeah, because like, it's a good book otherwise, but like, it's sort of repetitive in the way I woke up, I did the job, I went to the sewer system, Dune told me this stuff.
They should have added a lot more, like, more details and stuff like that.
Like, maybe, like, oh my God, I found this clue in the library, I need to check this out, and it leads to, like, this whole other thing that puts them on another quest, and maybe giving them, like, maybe a month or 2 more time in order to solve this with those extra time cases. Yeah. Like, with the small amount of time they had between when they started figuring it out and to when they actually solved it, they would have needed a bit more time. So like if Janine maybe put like maybe extended their time to like a month or 2 later, that would have been like really good.
Yeah, that would have been much better.
Just added a bit more development.
Okay, and finally...
the ending and what that means for the rest of the series.
Okay, so since I've already read some of the other books, I'm gonna just leave you to do this one.
Okay, so I feel like the end, because at the end it's mainly just Lena and Dune, right? Until they go back and they drop the message, and they go to, and Lena's sort of stepmother comes, sees it and is like, oh my god, I need to tell the city hall, not the city hall, but you know what I mean. And so they follow the directions, you know. I love that Janine made egress for it, because like it added sort of more suspense and mystery to it, until one character so nonchalantly is just like, oh, that's an old word for exit back when it was the early days.
Yeah,
like, so weird.
Just like never thinking about it before.
Just like, oh yeah, I learned that in school a few years back. Sort of stuck with me that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a good day.
Yeah.
That was so cool of her. Like I like gasped, and she just like walked off. With hands in pockets and just like stalked off.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, I love this whole book and the ending. Like, I love the ending of how they're just like, wait, we're underground? Whoa.
The sky is blue. I love how she foreshadowed the sky being blue.
The irony of it.
I know,
like, it was so great.
Like, I'm pretty sure the quote is how fun it would have been, or how like pretty it would have been to have a blue sky.
Yeah, like how strange would that be to have a blue sky? Like, whoa.
Instead of like the black or like brown and darkness that they had.
Yeah.
Because from what I understand, it was like really deep underground, right? But like it was a hole at the top.
Yeah.
So like they should have gotten a little light, but not enough to be like, the sky is blue. A dot up there is blue. So there's kind of that with it.
Yeah. I think that was all of our topics.
I think so too. I want to talk more about the middle though.
Okay.
Because like I feel like Lena is a bit like slow in the matter that she didn't really put all the clues together fast enough.
Yeah, like as I was reading the book, I was already like, whoa, this is gonna happen when they do this, and if they do that, that's gonna happen, and they're gonna escape here without dying, like they say.
Yeah, I was sort of like, okay, there's a river. Like I was like, okay, there's a marking. Oh yeah, this is by the river probably because they mentioned river.
They have many matches.
Oh my god.
Whoa,
let's go. And then Lena was like, oh my god, matches.
That's a match.
That's a match.
That's a boat.
I like how Janine added the fact that they couldn't really they didn't know how to use a candle, and so they sort of like guessed at it for a while, and they were like, fire.
Exactly,
you know?
yeah.
Like portable fire was so funny. I was like,
I love it.
It's called candle.
It's called this.
And I was like, oh my god. So, like, if the city was built, like, 200 years before, right? Because they were supposed to stay there for 220. They stayed for, like, 240. You know? So, like, if they stayed for that amount of time, would that mean that, like, if the people above ground had the abilities and resources to, like, do that, what do you think that could have meant for them? Because, like, just silence. Just silence.
I don't think this deep when I read books.
Right, you need to get better at reading.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's really what I think about it. And I like the fact that they have like the underground be cooler, and when they go above ground, they're like, whoa, it's like this is warm. I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, I love how like in the other book, I know we're only talking about the first one, but like they describe them as like pale and like really like skinny and frail and fragile. Like like no wonder they've been living underground. So
with minimal food and resources, and so like, they're obviously going to be like dehydrated.
Yeah, imagine how it would be looking at the sun after you've been underground.
Honestly, like their eyes must have been adapted to like be really wide to absorb all the light that they can.
Yeah, but then now they're just like,
go outside, they're like, it's probably like permanently stuck at like a wide degree.
Yeah.
Because like they've had 240 years to get used to that. They've not had 240 years to get used to the outside.
Yeah, I love how they describe like, what's that? And then I'm like, that's a fox. It's a fox. It's a fox.
It's a fox.
They're like,
or like a squirrel.
Yeah, like they describe animals, and I'm like, I know what it is.
Or like when Dune is like describing bugs, like the caterpillar that's
exactly.
like, and I'm like, it's a caterpillar.
Yeah, and then they're like,
it's a caterpillar.
Yeah, and then they finally talk to someone, and like the people of Sparks, and they're like, that's a caterpillar, and I'm like, I know.
And then they're like, oh my god, whoa.
Yeah.
The dialogue sort of is sort of simplistic though, because the explaining is pretty good, but it's not really the amount of like, oh my god, like interesting and like like snappy and energetic and like keeps your attention.
Yeah.
It's more like the inside thoughts. Mm-hmm. I also noticed how, like, it switches to Dune's for, like, a paragraph, or, like, Dune's POV for, like, a paragraph, then immediately Lena's, like, with no warning at all. So I feel like if, like, Dune had a chapter, Lena, Dune,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, I do like them conversing together, but, like, also, yeah, I would like some separation.
Yeah, because I would really like some, like, Dune POV to think, like, because we got, like, 3 paragraphs of his POV, but not enough to be like, oh my god, I love Dune, I know so much about him. It's more like Lena we know about. And, like, I understand, like, we want, like, a strong female main character, especially because this is for, like, children, like, 10 and below, and, like, elementary school. But, like, I feel like we have a lot of those recently, and so I feel like Dune should have stepped up to be more there, you know, because we need more of, like, those kinds of people in it.
Yeah.
But that's all the topics.
Yeah, I think that wraps everything up. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to the podcast.
Bye.